Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. Today I've got some Star Wars gaming news to talk about because, believe it or not, we're actually getting sort of an update for Battlefront 2. Or it's actually not an update for the game, but how the game is going to work on some consoles. On top of that, we got some more confirmation on a KOTOR remake being in the works. And also let's talk a little bit about the new Battlefield announcement and what it could potentially mean for the future of Star Wars Battlefront 3 or whatever DICE is working on. So let's dive straight into it. First of all, let's talk about the update I mentioned. So Microsoft is actually doing some type of FPS boosts to some games on the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. What this means is that they basically force the consoles to work, I guess, harder on old games that aren't meant to be running on those high frame rates. So what this means is that in its latest batch, they're actually making a bunch of EA's games work on a higher refresh rate up to 120 Hz/FPS. And this includes Battlefront 1 and 2, Titanfall 1 and 2, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5, and some other games. So this is really good news if you do play Battlefront 2 or 1 on the new Xbox consoles, as you will now basically be able to get the PC experience of playing with really high frame rates. And if you have a 120 or 144 Hz monitor like I do, you're really gonna feel a huge difference, because I do play on PC with like 200 FPS and 144 Hz monitor. So if I do play on console or just on like a lower end PC, I do feel a huge difference. It's not like it's gonna change the way you play the game, but if you're able to all of a sudden double your refresh rate and frames per second, you are gonna feel a difference, I promise you that. So all of you who have the new Xbox consoles, you are gonna have a smoother experience with some of EA's games, including Battlefront 1 and 2. And I don't think you need to do anything to activate it, but it's simply just gonna be there now. Just make sure that you will output your console to the proper refresh rate of your monitor. I know a lot of TVs probably only have 60 Hz, so I don't know how it's gonna work with TVs. But if you do have a higher refresh rate monitor, maybe for your PC, try plugging in your Xbox and playing Battlefront. It's gonna be really smooth, I promise you that. Next up, I wanted to talk a little bit about the KOTOR Knights of the Old Republic remake. This is something that's already been discussed before, but Jason Schreier did confirm yet again on the Min-Max show that Aspyr Media, who just re-released the Republic Commando game, are working on a KOTOR remake. So this is probably not just gonna be like with Republic Commando, where they just ported it basically to Switch and the PlayStation, but it's probably going to be a complete remake of the game. That's what I'm getting from all of his comments and sources, that they are actually going to build it from scratch and maybe even make it canon as a complete remake, because Aspyr or Aspyr, I can never get a hang of how to pronounce it, have actually been building up their development studio with RPG developers who even worked on the original KOTOR game. So it's not just going to be porting it, it's going to be a straight up remake. But again, it's not official and we don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I thought I'd bring it up again, since this is yet again another confirmation showing that this is like almost 99% guaranteed to be happening to some degree. I hope it's not wrong and it's not just going to be like a re-release again on like Switch, but it's going to be a proper, fully scaled, new graphics, new mechanics kind of game, because I think that would be really, really nice. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the Battlefield, because the other day they actually put out a blog post called "The Battlefield is Expanding," where they talk a little bit about how they're releasing a new Battlefield experience on the next-gen consoles and PC, kind of hinting towards that they might be skipping the old-gen consoles, but I'm not really sure. But the big thing here is that they're also releasing a standalone Battlefield game on mobile in 2022. So it's not going to be a version of the one coming this year, but a standalone game, which I thought was quite interesting. And that's apparently going to be Industrial Toys working on that, so it's a separate team than DICE themselves. But they also did confirm again that there's DICE, Criterion, DICE LA, and EA Gothenburg who are all working on this project. So it is definitely a huge project, and this time around they're only focusing on this. No Battlefront as far as I know, so I really hope it's going to turn out well and that it's going to show that they could make a similar move with a potential Battlefront 3, because I do think that the base command game to the first Battlefront game was quite fun, and if they made something more advanced and something bigger, imagine releasing a new Battlefront game coupled with a really good mobile game that actually fits together. Just look at how well Galaxy of Heroes are doing. If they do something that actually links those two games together, I think it has a really big potential. So again, there's no telling what they might do after they've released Battlefield, but I don't think the entire team at DICE is going to continue working on post-launch support. So we'll see how this affects the future of Star Wars games, but I still have my hopes up that they are going to get the chance to work on another Star Wars game over at DICE. I think most of us probably want to see that. But that's really all the details I've got for you today. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.